Look at all that money. Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for him.
Yes, it is. It is time for hemp. Thank you for tuning in to the big broadcast today. Please share us with your friends. I am your host, Casper Leach, and we ask that anytime you hear the word joint on the big broadcast, that you hit your pipes, your bongs, your vaporizers, and make it a point to take time for hemp. We always have a groovy show today, and we're going to kick it off by turning the spotlight onto my joint host, Al Bird, who's been busy letting the world know how important it is to take hot time for hemp with this great book called For Country and Cannabis. Hey, Al.
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, thank you. That is a book I wrote. It's been released. It's everywhere. Apple Books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. There's a book. It's a real book. It's 360 pages. It's a 40-year history full of technical information for the layman to understand, and traces the 40-year history of medical cannabis in the United States. How did that happen? Who did it? Why? Who are the good guys, the bad guys? The government, of course, is heavily involved in this book. And I recommend it for anybody that's a patient, certainly healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, social workers. They all ought to understand, and the book will teach you about the medical value, about the political aspect of this particular plant, and it's also I just want to mention it's international acceptance. We do have cannabis in the pharmacopoeia of about 30 countries worldwide. Rather, aggressive, wonderfully educated countries, United Kingdom, Spain, Canada, right next door. So it's all over the place. It's just our country that plays politics with it. And those politics are in the book. But that's my book. Please get a hold of it. I think you'll enjoy it. And today, as happens here on this program, we have a lot of international guests. And while one of our joint hosts is an international guy, he's Canadian. We call that international here. Now the guest is from Canada as well. So I don't know our guest. We have chatted, but it is my honor to introduce two token Canadians.
That's right. Yes, we are both token Canadians. Hi, guys. As you can see, we're doing things a little bit differently today. We have an in-studio guest, and that is Gwen McDonald. We welcome you to the Time for Hemp broadcast. Just so you know, a little bit of history about Gwen. She's a local cannabis enthusiast. She has worked in the legacy market in the past. She's presently working in the legal industry here in Canada, and we're going to talk to her about working in both markets as well as her experiences.
Well, I just want to say I'm high, Gwen. Are you high, Gwen?
I'm high. They're going to be today above ground. That's all we need.
Well, we're glad to have you, and backstage. We've had to try to control Casper today. Anything could happen here, folks. It'll all be above board, but it could be weird.
Well, when you're dealing with agriculture, everything's out of control.
Yeah, well, there you go. Well, here's the pop question I like to ask to get everybody rolling here is that uh, how did you start with cannabis anyway? I mean, what got you to the cannabis plant? Were you a stoner or were you, how'd it go?
I was definitely a stoner kid. Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
was alternative rock, stoner kid growing up. In the city that I grew up in was a very heavy General Motors town, so very industrial. So bit of a bush party town. You'd go in, you'd find somewhere to go, bring your beers in the forest, and if you were a smoker, you'd bring that. It's funny because growing up, I tell people the city that I grew up in, it was really hard to actually get flour at the time. It was mostly an oil and hash, so it was all like a lot of byproduct and homegrown. And then from there, going into my 20s, flour became a little bit more accessible in college, and then moving forward in life, it was just, I always knew where to get it. You just, once you know your people, those are your people. And just even through my travels and living abroad, I've just always been connected with those circles. And, you know, living abroad was a great experience because I got to travel to Amsterdam a little bit more frequently.
Oh,
Yeah. And then coming back and seeing that things in Canada were moving in towards legalization, I was excited to get on that.
Now, I understand from looking at your resume that you were an early entrepreneur, that you were making money in the world of cannabis and the streets of your city.
I did.
And you
True
were one of
story.
those people. You were one of those rockers who had access to all that.
Yeah, I was a criminal. I was
Oh my.
yeah.
And so you built a business making sales. Is that correct?
I worked for people that had grows and were doing distribution at the time, where, you know, I would come home.
Distribution is like what you were doing. Distribution.
Yeah.
You mean illegal sales?
It's what I put on my LinkedIn now. Listen, you put the fancy terms from, like, you know, I had to meet up with somebody in the mall parking lot to deliver their inputs to make their chocolates, to now it's, you know, here's some B2B deals.
So, but that tells me that you're pretty rough and tough and unflappable at an early age. So that means you kind of grew up fast too.
Yeah, I would say a little bit, but also being female has its pros and cons during pre-legalization, I would say. I mean, there wasn't an HR, things got a little rough for a woman, but you, for me and the other females that I found, we didn't create a stress for some of the guys that we worked for, because there could be some intense individuals we would work with, but they never seemed to worry about the females that were around them, whether they a perceived threat, the theft, or whatever. We became like a bit of a safer space for some of these sketchy dudes.
yeah,
like Alberta myself, right?
Well, I mean, there's definitely a spectrum of people that worked in the market. I've seen the various colors throughout that spectrum and had different experiences for sure.
good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
So now you're doing legal sales and you got a legal cannabis business and you're making money hand over fist, because everybody knows the whole world smokes pot. So that means if you got a business in cannabis, you're probably just making, it's $1 billion industry, right?
Well, I'm not the one running the businesses these days. I've always worked for others in cannabis. So right now I am working for someone that has been running their sales agency and was an advocate heavily prior to legalization.
Yeah. So
I'm very happy to be in this space with Lisa Campbell. And Mercari is the cannabis sales agency that I do work for right now. And it's countrywide and international that she does a lot of work with. So me being in the legal retail and then moving into a sales rep position and brand ambassador is an interesting space to be, because I've worked on the retail side. Now I'm doing and visiting all sorts of different stores and promoting brands and trying to get them on the radar.
So, like, are you selling pounds of pot or what?
Trying.
and
Case by case, brother, you know?
Let our audience know about the business.
Yeah, so the business side, as a sales agency, so it works a little different. So we have LPs
But
across
what are you
Canada.
selling? Are you selling pot?
Of course, we're selling pot. We're selling
Well,
oils.
the audience don't know. I mean, you're not selling like pipes and vapes. You're selling
No, we're not selling
oh my God,
accessories.
that's great smoke. I want 5 pounds, please. Right?
I mean, no, we're not selling. The way it works in Ontario is that we have one major wholesale provider, and that's run by the Ontario government, the OCS, so the Ontario Cannabis Store. So everybody that wants their product sold in the province of Ontario needs to go through this one distributor. So every retailer in the province of Ontario has one-stop shop portal. So if you have pot in BC, Newfoundland, Alberta, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and you want to be in the market, you need to be in touch with the Ontario Cannabis Store.
Yeah.
You need to hopefully get your product there. Province to province in Canada is very different, where Manitoba, their legal system will accept every SKU, every product. In Ontario, they could be like, well, we're not looking for any ounces right now, but we're looking for 14 grams. So we have to play in that market. They also somewhat dictate what the wholesale is going to be. They also dictate what the retail cost is going to be. So it's a whole conversation, just how the market in Ontario runs.
Yeah, because each province, right, you would have a different way that the market was done or run. Each province would have different rules and the way that things are distributed. Such in BC, they have some direct
delivery right now is very good because of the government being on strike. So that's every time there's a shift governmentally or politically, that also has a major ripple effect through cannabis, as you can imagine. I mean, all of our provinces are legal. So federally, Cannabis Act, you can sell cannabis anywhere legally. We have our restrictions versus, this province does, this province doesn't.
When it comes to these products, is a product that's say made in BC or made in Manitoba, does it automatically get into every province, or is there a process that these businesses have to go through in order to?
A lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of process. There's no guarantees. It's a very large challenge in Canada and Canadian producers to get their product out there. So if you're a micro or a small guy, it becomes even more challenging because of excise stamps.
Well, now, is this forcing the black market to grow and grow, or do they have such a clamp down that the black market just can't grow and you got to deal with this?
That's some of the conversation right now because of these costs that are being, it's a trickle down effect to the consumer when you've got your licensed producer having to pay all these fees, this tax, this stamp, this other thing. So it comes down. So at the end of the day, yeah, you could get an ounce for $150 in a legal retailer, or you could go to your sovereign nation, a local reservation, and get it for $50.
Yeah, I've even seen $10 ounces on the reserve, just so you know.
Yeah.
But
whoa, not since 1971 have I ever heard of that. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah, $100, $150. Like I don't buy ounces at the stores, but I have seen some ads like up on the board on the side of a hydro pole that promotes $99 ounces at a store. And I look at it as to get you in, because there's some people say you pay for what you get.
So you got the Walmart, you got the high-end stores, right? You either got Walmart pot or you got Tiffany pot. Is that right?
I don't understand what you just told me. You can go and buy an ounce of cannabis bud for $100 in the store.
Yeah,
and that's the government cannabis.
Always
Yeah.
plus tax. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't understand how any retailer can make any money at all on that.
They don't. That's the thing. Yeah, they don't. It's
So
It's-
then how is the
I
market
know
growing?
a friend of mine. Well, actually, a couple of friends of mine. They'll pay anywhere like $125 to $150 for their ounces.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't understand how any brick and mortar with human beings that do all the work and stuff and pay the taxes and the light bill and whatever the hell else comes along, which is a lot. It
Employees.
seems, yeah, that's not enterprise. That's some sort of bureaucratic nightmare that's been created there for whatever reason. I don't
There's a
know.
lot of competition. There's been a
That
lot
was the
of
next thing. I
there's
was
a
gonna
lot of
say.
down pressure on the price of cannabis over the last year and a half or so, where because of the illicit market, the legacy market, as some people call it, as well as the reserves. Like I'm in the middle of a spot where there's like 80 stores on just two reserves.
The Green Mile.
The Green Mile is one of them.
Well,
Wow,
I got
that's
no
a
problem
lot
with
of
I got no problem with competition, and sooner or later there'll be a mass exodus. That number, whatever it is, 80, it'll pretty quick. It'll be
Yeah.
8. That's okay.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand how anybody can make any money with those government regulations there. The other thing I want to, so if I'm a patient in Ontario, that's where you guys are, right?
You're right.
So if I'm a patient in Ontario and I go to the store, how many choices am I going to have? How many different varieties or of cannabis bud am I going to see there that I can make a decision on based on whether I've got some sort of spasticity problem or Crohn's?
Well, I'll jump in as soon as you go into an Ontario retailer. We don't want to know, need to know if you're a patient. Medical is not the realm of conversation that we are permitted to have in the legal market. So if you can see,
Yeah.
Wow.
you have to frame it. Most of my experience is in the retailer side, being in a brick and mortar store during COVID and beyond, opening stores. And now the sales rep thing is new for me. So now I'm visiting lots of stores and having the similar conversations. But having the store and people coming in is sorry, I think I've lost my train of
As
thought.
far as the medical and with
Yeah, we're not permitted. It's actually like if an AGCO, that's our governing body, inspector came in and was testing us like a secret shopper and said something like that to us of like, listen, I've got some carpal tunnel. Do you have a cream that you could recommend? We would have to say, well, listen, I can't speak to you on a medical basis. I'm not a doctor. You should definitely speak to your practitioner about that. But I can frame it. However, we do have these creams. It has been said, if you look online, like I can't speak to it in a medical way at all, or I can find myself in trouble.
Okay. Once we get by, once I get by that, okay, yeah, I'm aware that I can't bring up my medical condition, but
You
so
can. We'll just frame it funnily to you
okay.
back.
So I said,
Yeah.
all right, Gwen, what kind of options can you give me here? What are you going to tell me? I've got how many different strains? I've got. Is it?
Yeah, I'm asking first if you're looking for something to smoke, something to ingest,
Okay.
something vape. First, I want to see what kind of realm you're looking for, and then
All
I'll
right.
go from there. But yeah, we'll sell things in pretty much an ounce, half O, quarters, half quarters, things like that.
You have pre-roll joints and things
Pre-rolls
like
are available, singles, 10 packs, 5 packs, 3 packs. They're all pre-packaged. They all have big warning labels on them.
Oh, yeah.
They
that. And what kind of cannabis am I buying then? What am I buying? In a pre-roll, is it telling me that this is a particular?
It'll tell you the strain. It'll tell you the percentage of THC. It'll
Oh,
tell
okay.
you, and good labeling will show you at least the top 3 terpenes, then what to expect in that, because it's all heavily regulated. So everything Health Canada wise, it's numbers. It's going to show you all the things.
Well, I got no problem with that. I think that's a good
Yeah,
idea. Yeah. I
it's
mean,
easy.
Yeah, actually, like I know the last time that I went to a store and purchased a product, without going into the medical end in the store, I looked up the terpenes that were good for my condition and then went into the
Yeah.
store looking to match the terpenes, never even worried about what the THC was.
However, if you try and buy more than an ounce from me, I will be unable to sell that to you. It's capped at 30-gram maximum. So
For the
if
day, for the month, or for the what? For the year? For what?
your
How's that work?
carried limit. So you leave my store, you go to your vehicle, you're kind of out of my hands, but your receipt says 30 grams. Even in the POS, I can't sell you any more than that. It'll lock me out. So when you go in your vehicle, now let's say you get pulled over by a police officer. He can check your carry amount. You could have 100 cases of beer and 20 bottles of vodka, but you better not have more than 30 grams of weed.
Wow.
Or the equivalent of.
Yeah, and yeah,
Gee.
exactly.
And the
So-
equivalency becomes a whole thing because it's also registered in your point of sale system for these cash registers. These bud tenders are dealing with, okay, I'll sell you X amount of vape carts, X amount of hash. Oh, it's capped me out. This is all I can sell you because of the formulas they've put in to be the equivalency. This would be the equivalent of 5 grams. This would be the equivalent of 10 grams. So that has evolved because initially we were only able to sell people 4 drinks at a time.
4 beverages, yeah.
4
I remember
beverages
that. That
because the
was-
formula was so poor in the system. But that's it. We have a carry limit.
Okay, you got a carry limit, but to Casper's question, I've just bought my carry limit from you, and I've gone
Yeah.
home, and I did that on Wednesday. It's now Saturday. Can I come back and get another?
Sure. It's in your own home now, so it's fine. It's when you're in transit becomes
Okay,
the
so it's a
issue for the
it's a
officer.
transit problem.
Yeah, they can't
But
sell more than the 30 grams.
Because then you
can't
start to look shady, like you might be
All right,
reselling.
all right, but look, what's the? Tell me
About
what
4
happens. I've just come in. I'm Al. I come in. I get my 30 grams.
Yeah.
I leave. I come back
Right.
in an hour. I want 30 grams. Aren't you just going to sell me 30 grams? Not your
I
problem.
sure am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I just want
yeah.
to find out.
It's 30 grams per transaction, and you
All right.
can't just say, okay, I want to buy this. You buy the 30 grams, and then you say, oh, hang on, I want to buy an ounce of this too, and that
Right.
becomes a different transaction, but it's still at the same.
Okay. No,
'Cause then when you leave, you're going to have 60 grams instead of the 30.
I understand. I just want to make sure our audience gets it.
Well,
Man,
and it sounds almost
if I
like
get it, they probably can get it. That's the way I look at it.
it sounds almost like the borderline of the global digital ID that they're trying to enforce, where eventually they can shut down your ability to spend money in certain stores on certain products because you, like you said, you've made your purchase for the day, and so eventually they'll be able to, with your track you on your digital ID, and even get more control over that. It sounds like jeepers.
Now I know when it comes to like edibles, you think 30 grams, like a cookie weighs more than 30, can weigh more than 30 grams, but how do they deal with the edible end of things? Like they're only allowed up to 10 milligrams per
Mhm.
cookie.
It's a formula.
Another formula
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. And that beverage scenario, I'm glad to see that they fixed that.
There's been some good changes. I mean, the formula has changed. We used to have window coverings so that you couldn't see inside the stores.
Mhm.
That's been permitted to be removed so people could see
Wow.
in, see
They
out.
don't want passerbys to be able to look into the store.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which actually
Whoa.
became a bit of a safety issue for people
Yeah.
working late at night, so that if there was, let's say, a robbery, unfortunately, no one externally could see that this was happening inside.
And your advertising is what? Is
Not permitted.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted to hear.
Well, that's another. Are you allowed to advertise on like Pace Radio or Time for Hemp? Are you able to do that?
No, I mean, but there are some curiosities that I have noticed of late about
Yeah.
cannabis. I mean, even the city of Toronto, their streetcar had a massive ad along the side for the Ontario Cannabis Store, which
Oh.
is the wholesaler distributor monopoly,
Yeah.
which didn't, it seems, what are we allowing, what are we not under our regulations?
They're connected.
There's
to
a
the-
lot of blurring right
Yeah,
now.
because they're connected to the people who make the regulations.
Correct.
So they ought to
Well,
know.
Sounds like we've just scratched the surface of this topic, and it would be groovy if we had the opportunity to have you return for a continuation of this chat. Can we make that happen?
I'd love to make some more time for you guys, considering I am local.
Yes,
All
sir.
right.
I guess I can squeeze in next to Al again.
All right. Well, then we'll have you on for our next segment. And Al, Graham, you want to say something about Pace Radio that people can find and listen?
Yep, you can find Pace Radio, which is people advocating cannabis education, at paceradio.net. We do stuff in video as well as in audio, just for those who are wondering. And we cover not only cannabis, but we also cover psychedelics as well.
And Al Byrne, big shout out for your groovy book.
Yep, got a groovy book. But I also want to point out that Casper is an Army veteran, and I'm a Navy veteran. And so we do a lot of work with cannabis and veteran issues. There's a lot of that discussed in my book because at one point in my life, I was a combat counselor for the Agent Orange people and the VA at the same time. So I had 5 years of experience using cannabis with different vets for different problems. So I just want to point out I've had a lot of experience there, and we get to talk about that now and then. And then all of us discussed just before we went on the air that we all are dog people. So
Right.
when Gwen comes back, we're going to have a little bit of a dog talk. I insist.
And I do want to remind people that if you go to timeforhemp.news, there's all kinds of great podcasts that you can download, audios that you can download, lots of free music about how wonderful cannabis is. And we ask that you share us with your friends, because that's the only way we're going to be found, is if people around us know how important it is to take time for hemp.
Look at all that money. Look at all that money. Yeah, the money that they've spent. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him. Well, an acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Throughout Earth's history, hemp has been used, no mystery. Hemp was legal to pay your taxes for more than a century. Faxes, the founding fathers make sense to me. It's time to grow hemp legally. Think of all its uses, it's money that's well spent. Right now, no excuses, it's time for hemp. Sustainable green industry, that's our intent. A better place this world will be, it's time for hemp. Fuel and food and clothes and soap, housing, cars, yeah, cars, no joke. Henry Ford built a car of hemp. It's time for us to do it again. People being flowers far with Valentine's time as it's meant right now. It's time for him. Hemp is a true necessity for the wealth and protection of this country. Thomas Jefferson spoke those words. He knew the value of these herbs. It's time to lift the hemp. It's time to make a strong stance. Well, yes, we can. I know we can. We can make a difference. Yes, we can. Just like birds of a feather, we can work together. We live the hemp. Look at all that money, yeah, the money that they spend. Take another look and take some time for him. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for him.